We might have Mike.
Oh, okay.
All right, everybody just hang tight, please. I'm confirming the streaming. Oh, we might have Mike. There is a bit of a delay.
Oh, okay.
All right, everybody just hang tight, please. I'm confirming the streaming. Try to turn that down.
Can you hear me, Aaron?
Hi, Mike. Yes, we are recording and streaming, so you are here with us. Let me just change your name here.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, we all had our first time using Zoom last year. That
Yeah, I was telling Aaron the problem. I've had internet here for 2 days, and minutes before I go, I'm trying to get in 10 minutes before the meeting, and I get you have no internet. So the phone always works,
Zoom knows when our meetings start. I'm convinced.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
Are we ready?
Council, we are streaming, we are recording, and we are ready to go when you are, sir.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Today is our reorganization meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape May, New Jersey. It is Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. The time is now 4:42. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all. Thank you.
Under the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and the Press of Atlantic City, and a copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council and posted on the Cape May City website and Cape May City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that Cape May City Council meetings are audio recorded and video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the Cape May City website. The City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Roll call. Council, we have Councilmember Baldwin.
Here.
Councilmember Meyer.
Here.
Mayor Mullock.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan.
Here.
Councilmember Yeager.
Here.
City Solicitor Gillen Schwartz.
Here.
City Manager Ball.
Here.
Deputy City Clerk Dillon.
Here.
And Council, we also have Pastor Hae-Young Horton from the United Methodist Church. I'm sorry, I do not have it in front of me.
You're right.
Pastor, welcome.
May United Methodist Church. Yes.
Thank you very much for being with us, Pastor. Okay.
And we do have the invocation next, if Pastor, if you're prepared.
Sure. Are you ready to pray?
Yes.
Let's pray. God, we had a rough 2 years, but in the middle of our chaos and the pandemic, we saw the spirit of people resilient and try to do our best to get through this difficult time. And we have a year 2022 ahead of us as these council members get together and make decisions for better future of Cape May and our county and country. We ask you to bless each one of them. Give them your wisdom and clear mind so that they will serve you and they will serve your people. Be with us as we go through this year, and this year will be better than any other years we have experienced. Thank you. In your son's name, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pastor.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And Pastor, I can have you exit from the room now, if that's all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, next council, we have the nominations for the election of deputy mayor.
Do I have any nominations?
I'll nominate Stacy Sheehan.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on that nomination? Seeing none, we roll call.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan, Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
Great. All right, Deputy Mayor, would you like to be sworn in virtually, or would you like to do that at a later date? In
Oh,
person?
you can do it now if you like.
Okay.
I forgot to put my Bible near me.
What's that?
I forgot to put my Bible near me.
You can get it if you want. It's up to you. Okay. Let me know when you're all set, okay?
But why don't we just do it at a later date, Erin?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll set that up very shortly, okay?
Do that tomorrow.
Yeah, no problem. Okay.
And if I could just say, I really appreciate the hard work of Deputy Mayor Sheehan over the last year, and look forward to having a wonderful deputy mayor for the next year. Stacy, if I may, Stacy really works really hard for the city of Cape May, and you know her heart is behind the city and all of her decision making. And Stacy, I thank you very much, and I'm proud to call you my deputy mayor. So thank you very much.
I want to thank you for the nomination. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay.
So next, Mayor, I am counting that vote as the adoption of Resolution 0101-2022. That was the resolution for the election of deputy mayor, okay?
Okay.
So next up, we have resolution number 2-01-2022. That is the resolution appointing the city solicitor and authorizing the execution of a professional services contract for the same, Mr. Christopher Gillen Schwartz, Esquire.
Do I have a motion?
Make a
Make-
motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
Yes.
Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
Just want to thank you all for the opportunity to work with you again. It's a tremendous honor to serve my hometown, and I get a great kick out of working with all of you, and I think you're doing a great job. So thank you again.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. You put a lot of work and effort into. I don't want to ruin my speech, but you've done a lot of the legal issues that are very difficult and time consuming. You've done a wonderful job on. We've moved forward some important legal matters, and not always a fun thing to do, but you've done a good job. So we thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, Mayor and Council, we have nominations for various boards and commission liaison members. The first, if you'd like to go with Resolution 0301-2022, it's a resolution for the appointment of a Class 3 Planning Board member, Deputy Mayor Sheehan.
I make a motion.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second?
I'll
Thank
second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
Same.
Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 0401-2022, resolution for appointment of Washington Street Mall Business Improvement District Management Company, Inc. Board member, Councilmember Lorraine Baldwin.
Make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Abstain.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
Yes.
Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
We have 0501-2022, resolution for appointment of the City of Cape May Historic Preservation Commission Board Liaison, Councilmember Lorraine Baldwin.
Make a
Make
motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Abstain.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan. I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor, I'm having a bit of a hard time hearing you.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Yeager
Yes.
and Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
Next, we have 0601-2022, resolution for appointment of the Cape May City Shade Tree Liaison, Councilmember Shane Meyer.
I'll
Do I have
make
a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Abstain?
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
Yes.
Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
and Mayor Monk.
Yes.
Resolution 07-01-2022, resolution for the appointment of the City of Cape May Environmental Commission Liaison, Mr. Councilmember Michael Yeager.
Make a motion?
Second?
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
Yes.
Councilmember Yeager,
Abstain?
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
08-01-2022, resolution for appointment of the City of Cape May Beach Safety Advisory Committee Liaison, Councilmember Lorraine Baldwin.
Make a motion?
Second?
Councilmember Baldwin,
Abstain?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
Yes.
Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
And next we have Resolution 09-01-2022, resolution for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee Liaison, Councilmember Michael Yeager.
Make a motion?
I'm sorry, I did not hear a second.
Second, Stacy.
Thank you.
I don't know why my voice isn't going through.
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit, so, but no worries, we'll get there. Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
Yes.
Councilmember Yeager,
Abstain?
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
Okay, next up we have the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they'd like to be removed from the consent agenda this evening?
Can I just clarify something as far as the resolution 40-01-2021? Which is the payment of bills. There were two of them, I think, that we received. I just want to clarify that we're only voting on the one.
Yes, it was revised by the CFO when he returned to the office. So it's just it was the most recent one that you would have received is the bill pay for this meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anything else, council? Okay. So on the consent agenda this evening, we have resolution 10-01-2022, resolution designating Cape Regional Urgent Care as the official physician for the City of Cape May and authorizing a one-year contract therefore. Resolution 11-01-2022, resolution designating the official newspapers for the year 2022 in the City of Cape May. 12-01-2022, resolution for appointment of municipal public defender and authorizing the execution of a professional services contract for the same, Mr. Michael A. Sorensen, Esquire. 13-01-2022, resolution for appointment of city prosecutor and authorizing execution of a professional services contract for the same, Mr. Kyle D. Weinberg, Esquire. 14-01-2022, resolution for appointment of bond counsel, Archer and Griner PC as the Cape May City Bond Counsel and authorizing the execution of professional services contract for the same. 15-01-2022, resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement for professional services with Brown and Connery. 16-01-2022, resolution approving professional services agreement for municipal engineer, it's Engineering Design Associates, PA. 17-01-2022, resolution to authorize requests for proposals to create a list of qualified engineering firms for special projects. 18-01-2022, resolution for appointment of engineer for inspection of projects approved by the City of Cape May Planning and Zoning Board of Adjustment, Palestina and Associates, LLC. 19-01-2022, resolution approving an agreement between the City of Cape May and James M. Rutala Associates for grant consulting services. 20-01-2022, resolution for appointment of risk management consultant for the Atlantic County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund, Mr. Michael McLaughlin of Marsh McLennan Agency. 21-01-2022, resolution for appointment of municipal auditor and authorization and execution of a professional services contract for the same. That's Leon Costello of Ford Scott. 22-01-2022, resolution authorizing professional services contract with Employee Care for an employee assistance program. 23-01-2022, Resolution for appointing members of various boards and commissions of the City of Cape May. 2401-2022, resolution supporting continued participation in the Sustainable Jersey Municipal Certification Program. This is the Cape May City Green Team. 2501-2022, resolution appointing members of the Cape May City Creative Team. 2601-2022, resolution for appointment of members to the Cape May City Hazard Mitigation Planning and Floodplain Management Public Information Group. 2701-2022, resolution establishing 2022 business hours for City Hall in the City of Cape May. 2801-2022, resolution designating meeting day and place for council meetings in the City of Cape May. 2901-2022, resolution establishing 2022 scheduled holidays for the City of Cape May. 3001-2022, resolution authorizing the city clerk to issue bingo and raffle licenses throughout the year to qualified organizations. 3101-2022, resolution approving list of peddlers designated locations. 3201-2022, resolution authorizing the tax assessor to file a petition of appeal and stipulation of settlement for the tax year 2022 with the Cape May County Board of Taxation. 3301-2022, resolution designating the public agency compliance officer. 3401-2022, resolution authorizing contracts with certain approved state contract vendors for contracting units pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-12A. 3501-2022, resolution concerning deferred school tax levy for the City of Cape May School District. 3601-2022, resolution concerning deferred school tax levy for the City of Cape May Lower Cape May Regional School District. 3701-2022, resolution approving the 2022 cash management plan for the City of Cape May. 3801-2022, resolution approving the 2022 temporary budget. 3901-2022, resolution affirming rate of interest on delinquent taxes and assessments and fixing 6% penalty on delinquent taxes and municipal charges for the year 2022. And 4001-2022, that is the resolution for the payment of bills. We have a motion to adopt the consent agenda items.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Just before roll call, I do want to acknowledge and thank some of the folks that we just mentioned. Our public defender, Michael Sorensen, our prosecutor, Kyle Weinberg, Craig Hurlis, Leon Costello, Jim Rotola, and all of the volunteers on the various different boards. We thank you all very much for your service to the city. You really have done a wonderful job over the last couple of years. Many of you have been served for several years now, so we thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
Yes.
Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
and Mayor Mullet.
Yes.
All right, Mayor, next we have your mayoral appointments. I'm not sure if you'd like to go over them individually or just note that you are making mayoral appointments to these bodies.
I'm going to try to remember a couple of them that I'm appointing. I want to welcome back. In fact, I think everyone's being reappointed, but I want to welcome back Tom Carroll at the Historic Preservation Commission. Tom has just done a wonderful job service to the city at no cost. And frankly, I've heard many comments from people going before the HPC board that while none of us love going through the red tape that is involved in a permitting process, they were so happy with some of the ideas that they have been given. So I appreciate Tom and John Becker, a newer member who has been an excellent member of the Historic Preservation. Thank you very much. Eric Brzezinski, our Superintendent of Public Works for the Office of Emergency Management. And again, I don't want to give away my speech, but he and his staff did an absolutely wonderful job during the storm. So thank you. Anita Desadnik, Aline Cassidy, George Katniss, Ed Hutchinson, and Lorraine Walsh on the Library Advisory Committee. Proud to reappoint you, and thank you very much. And our Class 2 Planning Board member, Louis Blasco, welcome back. And sorry, we're taking another one of your Tuesday nights, but we're doing it. So thank you for your service very much.
Okay. Next, Mayor, so we can stop spoiling it, we do have your State of the City address, so.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, it's a little bit different this year doing this on Zoom, unfortunately. But I do, before I even start, I want to remember just starting last year in City Hall, not that long ago, from a year from today, was our deputy mayor, Stacy Sheehan, and council member Lorraine Baldwin bringing people into City Hall, helping them register for their vaccines. And I think that was just one of the examples of trying to hit the ground running and helping our community as much as possible. So I just want to say thank you. It's been an honor to be mayor for the last year, and it's an honor to give the State of the City address. I want to start by thanking our Department of Public Works for their hard work over the last few days. I want to thank our police and fire departments who have worked very hard to keep us safe, especially during this recent storm we just had. 2021 was a year that the Cape May community came together. A year we put the city's finances back in order. A year we took on the challenges to complete and start a number of important projects. A year we saw the preservation of our natural resources by preserving the Sewell Track, along with important efforts such as negotiating a 25-year lease with the Nature Center of Cape May with the New Jersey Audubon. It's a year we preserved our history through the efforts of the Historic Preservation Commission and the purchase of the AME Church. A year we faced many difficulties, including several expired employee contracts, some of which had been expired for over 4 years, but have now renewed a number, over 8 contracts this year. And after decades of debate and countless attempts at getting this going, we have finally started the brand new firehouse, and we're doing so well within budget and paid for by the citizens of Cape May. All of these accomplishments are community accomplishments that have had support and the endorsement of the city of Cape May and all of our city council members that we have here. We've had these successes because we have tapped into an extraordinary abilities of the citizens of our community. We are jealously protecting our town that we love. This town that is the home for our children, the homes of generations of Cape May residents, whose collective protection of the beauty of Cape May have made it one of the most renowned communities in America. Our job is to keep it that way. We must protect our town from natural disasters by increasing our efforts for flood mitigation and by protecting our town from overdevelopment. The fact is, we as a community have done a very good job. We have created a beautiful and unique community. We have added tremendous value. And through the decades, Cape May has made smart decisions regarding zoning, planning, and historic preservation. We can protect our community by simply continuing those efforts, but we cannot do that alone. When you become mayor, you're not given a magic wand. We need the support of our community, and I'm asking for that support from the citizens of Cape May. We can also protect our community by being financially strong. All the contracts, projects, and capital expenditures that have been done without a tax increase in 2021. We plan on once again having a 0% tax increase in 2022. Yet we have many projects that are moving forward in a positive direction, as well as reasonable and well-deserved salary increases for our employees. We do this with good professional and fiscally responsible planning. We want to bring back normalcy to our everyday, cooperation, and perhaps even a little bit of boring government. Some may say this speech is a good start in that pursuit. A year ago, I ended my address with the words from Proverbs. The way of a fool is right in his own mind, but a wise man listens to advice. And that's what I gave my emails for any advice that folks have, which is zmoloch@capemaycity.com. But we will strive to serve with love, wisdom, and compassion. We should always remember we are here to serve, not to rule. While getting projects finished or started is important, it is not what is most important to me. What is most important to me is the Cape May community. What is most important to me is making sure we preserve our way of life, keeping Cape May a wonderful place to live and even raise a family. Being mayor in such a wonderful city is quite an honor only surpassed by being a father and a husband. I want to thank my wife, Justine, for working so hard, allowing me to do my best as mayor. May God bless you and your families. May God bless America. And may God bless Cape May. Thank you. I asked Aaron if we could put an applause track in, but that was out of the budget.
I'm clapping.
It's a different way of doing this. I did want to go over a couple. I'll go as quickly as I can. Little snippets. Financially, the city is as strong as ever. 2021 saw increases to our occupancy tax collection, beach tag sales, and parking meters. And our tax collection is up to 99.12%, which I'm being told is a record as well. And I want to thank Debbie and Mariah in the tax collection office. They've done a really wonderful job this year. I also want to thank our finance department, CFO, Neil Young, Josh Neiman. They've really done an excellent job in getting our finances in really good shape. And one of the examples I have here is the refunding of our existing bonds, which we just had a bond sale you may have seen. It was excellent. We came in with, just by basically refinancing our bonds, we saved $1.89 million and took 7 years off of our debt schedule. So that really was a big win for the city. We also tripled our interest rate in our banking earlier this year and made the necessary legislative issues that we've talked about to be able to fund our new police department, which we hope to have some announcements on in the near future. We also bonded for the fire station, as everyone knows, the new firehouse, and the interest rate came in at 1.59%. You can't beat that. I mean, I think we all wish we had a mortgage at 1.59%, but the city of Cape May does, and it really worked out. And on top of that, we've also made major capital expenditure purchases like new police and fire radios, which was a major purchase that, of course, they had been asking for a couple of years. We purchased the body cameras for the police, which had been asked for. And we also took the steps of using some of the grants that we have involving the AME Church, but also we put in a new shade structure at the Cape May Elementary School. And I want to thank all of the council members that have all worked hard to do some of these things that we've accomplished. I know Councilwoman Baldwin helped a lot with the shade structure. Another accomplishment that we accomplished this year that we won't see yet, but is now in the designs for the new electric substation, is a sidewalk. And Councilman Meyer had been working to make sure that we have this sidewalk as a connection toward West Cape May over the bridge for several years. So we're all really happy to see that that's finally coming to fruition. And frankly, it would not have happened had we not had a push from a council member to do that. So I thank Mr. Meyer. We also reappointed. We're doing a lot of reappointments tonight, so forgive me for my slip up, but we reappointed the brick at City Hall. Many of you know there were water leaks that had happened over the years. We fixed those water leaks, repointed it, and did that pretty quickly. The purchase of the AME Church, we've applied for multiple grants, have received hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants, and that looks to be an excellent project that will be moving forward soon with bidding. In fact, as you probably see, they've already done at least the priming, caulking of the clapboards, again, done with a local contractor. Firehouse, as you all know, is well underway. Just last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, the concrete footing was poured. That actually was poured by a Cape May resident. I mean, you can't beat that. So that was pretty cool. We have a meeting tomorrow on the firehouse, and we're all well on schedule to have that well within the 18-month timeline. Lafayette Street Park, as you all know, we've had the legal and permitting process going on for some time now. But I have to say, we hired outside counsel, specifically environmental professionals in regards to our legal, and they've really done a nice job and have sped up the process, making sure that we'll be able to do this as quickly as possible. And I can assure the public that we are moving that project as quickly as we possibly can. We've started with all the permitting process, so as soon as we have our permission from JCP&L, we'll be ready to go. And you may have seen just in the last 2 days, we started tearing down the 2 houses on St. John's that are in the way of that project. So frankly, we've done torn down the old baseball field, basically doing everything we legally can do to be as prepared as we can be when we get the go-ahead for the park itself. Also, in the meantime, Madison Avenue, you probably have seen the basketball court. Well, we've been waiting for the basketball courts to be able to be done at Lafayette Street. We wanted to refinish the basketball court that existed, which was very small and really in need of repair. Expanded that and had a local charity, Next Gen 30, donate the basketball hoops, which was great. And we see a lot of kids out there. Also, as you all know, Soldiers and Sailors was completed this year. As anyone who walks by knows, it's a really beautiful monument to our heroes. And I want to thank the Fund for Cape May and all the donors that donated to that park. You should be proud. It looks fantastic. And again, to all the council members that worked very hard on that to make sure it got done. I thank you very much. And just lastly, to finish, as we move forward, we've looked at expanding our road work in the next couple of years. That's something that basically we did a mathematical equation on how many roads we do per year and how long it would take to pave the whole city under a 40-year basis of the lifespan of a road. And we're only halfway there. So we've increased that road work. So you'll see more in the near future, starting really in this spring. We've also, as most of you know, looked at the water desal plant expansion. That's going to be a major and important project for the city moving forward. We need to be able to provide water. And with the recent passage of the infrastructure bill, I can assure the citizens of Cape May the City Council is reaching out to the appropriate state and federal officials to make sure that we get the funding for that project, or at least as much funding as we possibly can. We've also commissioned some studies in regard to nuisance flooding on Elmira, Venice, and Bank Streets. As most of you are all well, the flooding that occurs down there is now being studied. We recently completed a watershed management plan with Cape May Point, West Cape May. Of course, the Army Corps of Engineers continue their work down at the Wilmington and Beach Avenues for the seawall. Just 2 more quick ones coming up soon is the new parking lot at the Welcome Center between Oyster Bay and the Welcome Center itself. Our goal and is still on target, thanks to the hard work of our solicitor and our engineer, to have a 20-space brand new parking spot between Oyster Bay and the Welcome Center. Our hopeful deadline is July 1st. So we really are going to be pushing hard to have a parking lot ready for summer 2022, or at least majority of summer 2022. Also, we did receive DEP approval and bid out for the widening of the promenade between the arcade and Primal Restaurant, that arcade, and Convention Hall. And those bids came in with some good numbers. We got a bid for $103,000. That is to basically increase the width of the promenade to include basically where the big boulders are, concrete and boulders, and you always see kids walking through there on their bikes and running, and they're just wondering when we're going to get another trip lawsuit. So we are expanding that entire area to include the promenade. But to wrap this up, I do want to thank all of our residents, our local community organizations and nonprofits. I want to thank all of our board and committee volunteers that make all of these projects possible. I also want to thank all of City Hall staff, all of our police, especially Chief Fashaw, our firefighters, especially Chief Coulter, our fire police, our Department of Public Works, especially Eric Brzezinski, our water department and Rob Comiskey. Thanks to Casey and the Convention Hall staff. Thank you to Aaron and Emily. Deputy Mayor Sheehan, thank you for your hard work. Council members Baldwin, Meyer, Yeager, thank you all for your hard work this last year. And I know we're all prepared for more work in 2022. You all truly make a wonderful team. All of the City Hall staff, City Manager Vol, Deputy City Manager Lou Belasco, CFO Neil Young. You all work very hard. And Aaron, thank you all very much. And I wish you all a happy and healthy 2022. So I really kind of gave two speeches, but
The good ones, though.
okay.
All right. Next, Mayor, we have, if any council members would like to make any comments at this point.
Any council members?
I'll start. And just happy new year to everyone. Zach, I think you put everything, summed everything up really well.
Didn't leave a lot to say.
No, but I love the city of Cape May. I love that I call it my home, and I'm sure we're all in the same boat. We love that we're able to serve the city that we love. Just to extend out to anybody who's listening, any of the public, we all have open door policies. If you have any questions, feel free, email us, get in touch with us. If you want updates on anything, I'm really happy to be part of a committee that shows tremendous progress. We bring the conversation to the table. We're transparent. And I can't say enough about the council that's in front of me right now. Thank you.
I'd like to just make a comment if I could. This is Mike Yeager, and I was very fortunate that I was appointed to council, and the fortunate part is that I was appointed to such a great council. I think you guys have been so productive this past year. I've been very impressed, and I hope I can help do half as much as you've done this past year. And my hat's off to all of you.
Thank you, Mike.
I just have a few comments. First, I just want to start off on a sad note, but I think it should be brought up. I'd like to extend my deepest sympathy and prayers to the Ray family. In this past month, they not only lost Missy, Jeanette Ray, but now also Les Ray. Les Ray was the owner-operator Ray's Farmer Market there in West Cape May, best known for the lima beans. He also was the person driving the tractors with his suspenders for the parades that we had with our floats. I want to thank everyone again on council for the appointment to deputy mayor. I'm looking forward to another great year with all the council members. And like Ms. Baldwin said, I think it's important that that we hear from the public good and bad comments. It's always important that we hear what you're thinking, what your suggestions are, and please reach out to all of us with your concerns, good and bad. And Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you. Mr. Meyer?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to just say that I look forward to working with all of you for the next year. We've had a great year in the past. I'd like to just put something in everybody's mind, looking forward towards the summer season. I'm not necessarily encouraging shutting down streets for the outdoor dining, but I think we need to look at how we want outdoor dining this year. And I think we should use the governor's advice as part of our guidance to, having a successful season and also not being shutting down roads and things like that. So let's put in your minds, I want us to have a comprehensive plan moving forward. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Meyer. Okay.
Mayor, it's not on the agenda. I'm not sure if you wanted any words from the city solicitor or city manager at this time. Any comments?
Yeah, sure, please, city solicitor, any comments?
I just informationally, I just wanted to let council know that Governor Murphy did enact an executive order putting into place a public state of emergency. You'll remember that expired around the springtime, right before the summer. There's no restrictions or anything like that, but to Councilman Meyer's point, we're just going to have to keep an eye on that and see how we go through the winter. And if anything changes, I'll be sure to let city manager and council know.
Thank you.
City Manager Vol, any comments?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I want to take the opportunity to thank the council for my appointment. I look forward to working with every one of the council members this year in the best interest of Cape May. I want to thank all my coworkers. We've had a tough year with the COVID issues, but we have dedicated employees that share in my values, and that's providing a clean, safe, and caring historic community. And I believe we do provide that. It's clean. Our public works does a great job. We're safe with our police and fire and EMTs do a good job. And generally, all the employees I work with are very caring. So thirdly, I want to be thankful to work with you, Mayor, our clerk, Aaron Burke, Solicitor Chris Goins-Schwartz, CFO Neil Young, Deputy Mayor Lou Velasco, Vince Orlando. We have a great team. And I want to thank each and every one of the council members. I encourage them to call me, email me if there's anything I can do to improve or help them to get through 2020 in a most progressive way. I pray that the new year, the COVID variant will, as soon as it came in, it'll go out just as quick. And in closing, I just promise to do the very best for each and every resident and business in this community. And I think by working together in 2022, the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Before we do the benediction, we'd like to move on to, we had a technical difficulty with one of the Reverend.
Actively working on it, Mayor. Would you like to have a discussion?
Yeah.
Before, as I try to get a hold of them?
Aaron, why don't you try to get a hold and I'll take over the discussion.
Thank you.
So next on the agenda is discussion on proposed ordinance 452-2021. That's an ordinance amending the city code in regard to licensing and permits, established provisions for residential rental licensing. Any discussion on that?
I would just like to bring up one item. And I know we had talked about this in the past. It's concerning these rates for rental properties have not been adjusted since they were put in place over 15 years ago. And that rate was $75 for a mercantile license. So the rates haven't been increased at all. Obviously, rental prices have gone up since that time. I'd like to get feedback on the fact that we raise all of them, and that includes the $75 up to $100, so that everybody's getting an increase on the fees associated with this mercantile license.
Any comments or questions on that, Mr. Meyer?
I understand where the deputy mayor's coming from. Maybe it's time to raise the fees. I'll be happy to entertain it if any other council member will support it.
Do you want to make that in the form of a motion, Deputy Mayor, or is there any other comments folks want to talk about?
Well, since we're just in discussion part, I thought I'd make.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. And any other comments on that?
All I wanted to.
I think the only comment I have is that I wouldn't want to make it a sticking point on getting this ordinance passed. But I also agree the $75 fee's been in place for 15 years, and inflation before the latest has been 29% over that period of time. And That's before our latest round of whatever it is, 6 or 7%. I think it's affordable, but again, I'm interested in is if we can have the majority support that 100, I would be with it. But I want to do what it takes to get this ordinance passed.
I appreciate the research on the inflation rate since the last time we raised it. That's pretty good. I think so. We're less than $1 per year, regardless per percentage of inflation. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments on discussion prior to introduction of this ordinance?
I have some general comments just after all council is done.
Okay. Should we do that upon introduction, Mr. Solicitor, or should I move on to Pittsburgh Avenue? Up to you.
I hope to go through it very briefly and just
Go ahead.
it's
Go
kind
right
of for council and for the public that may be listening. The red line version that is in the packet and being considered by council was redlined after some of the council members, I think Councilwoman Baldwin and Deputy Mayor Sheehan have been looped into a conversation with our clerk and some of the administrative staff on some of the practical hurdles, and just they're going from the legislative to the practical and how this would be implemented. And the result of that was these red lines. I think just the outline of it, I think we've eliminated some of the, I think you could say, excess language. We have an ordinance that if you get rid of the red line and just read through it clean like I did before this meeting, it makes sense. It reflects what we currently have in place, which is a mercantile license and inspection process. And if people do not abide by that, they're subject to very reasonable penalties. We've eliminated some of the, I guess, the quote scary language in this, but it still has teeth. People need to get inspected, fire inspected, and remain in compliance. So if the fire inspection gives comments or there's any issues that need to be addressed, the city has the ability to enforce that. And the enforcement mechanism is just like any other city code. It's through the municipal court and code enforcement process. And additionally, the Fire Prevention Bureau, if there's any fire issues. And it's tied to the Uniform Fire Safety Act, which is, we already have that in place. And I think this really, what you do is you update the mercantile license structure to a more equitable framework based on square footage. And then you also cement what you currently have in place and I think strengthen that rather than create a new world order within the city. We have a process that is in place and this code reflects that. So I just wanted to give council and the public that outline.
Any questions or comments on that? Okay, before we go to that ordinance, let's open up the discussion on Pittsburgh Avenue bike lanes. Mr. Yeager, do you want to open that up for us?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. First of all, when I requested that we have this as a discussion item, it was a little bit more complicated and controversial than it is right now. So for anybody out there listening, hopefully council has a little bit of background on what's going on with Pittsburgh Avenue, but I'd like to just kind of quickly go through this and tell you the direction that we're going, and we'd like to get, council's okay on this. But, first off, Pittsburgh Avenue, for those that don't know, will be resurfaced in 2022 from Texas Avenue all the way to Beach Avenue. The design process is beginning this spring. Then the bidding process is going to be this summer, and the start of construction's in September of 2022, completed no later than May of 23. This is a county road, And this is also, by the way, it's a state-funded project. The reason we're involved with this is because the county, of course, has taken into consideration Cape May's, I think, a great committee that they have in place, which is the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. They have done great work over the last several years, and the county is aware of the fact that they would certainly like to play a role in how Pittsburgh Avenue is striped after the resurfacing is done. So when we had our first meeting with the county engineer, Bob Church, one of his first options that he came in with was to completely eliminate all the turning lanes on Pittsburgh Avenue. I subsequently had a meeting with the city manager, the deputy city manager, and the chief of police, and the four of us had concluded that that can't happen, whereas that might provide a very safe environment for bicycles. It was going to cause both a traffic congestion in the summer, particularly where Pennsylvania and Delaware Avenues are used by the Coast Guard facility itself and the people that live there, et cetera. So we had a problem with that option from the very beginning. It also, we felt eliminating the turning lane would provide actually a little bit more danger to bicyclists on that road. In any case, at that point is when the city manager suggested this might be something that we want to review and have council decide on. Since then, actually the committee originally agreed to a hybrid version, but now as recently as yesterday, I got a nice email from Holly Tilford, who's the chairperson of that advisory committee. And Holly's recommending now that what we do is we take one of the options that the engineer gave us, which is to leave all the turning lanes there, but of course they're going to do their best to make the safest gap between the bicyclist and the roadway. So that's item one. But what Holly and the committee are recommending is that from Illinois Avenue, which there's no turning lane at Illinois Avenue. Once you pass Pennsylvania, heading south towards the beach, that in fact they go with the second option that the engineer provided, which was to make a pretty wide bicycle lane, a wide buffer, and it also would have, this would basically narrow a little bit the driving lane, which they call the cartway. It would narrow that, expand the bike lane somewhat, and it would give probably help with it's what they call a road diet, which basically encourages people to drive slower, since many people are exceeding the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit on that road. So the proposal, again, is that what we do is we just narrow the roadway where there are no turning lanes, that we give a little bit more of a buffer and a wider bike lane at that end of Pittsburgh Avenue, and we stick with the current turning lane, but designed in the most safe way possible for the bike lanes. So it's I think a great option. It's one that has to be presented to the county. The county needs this. They need the okay. They need direction so they can begin their planning process and stay on schedule for getting the paving done. So this is part one. I just wanted to know, does council have any issues or concerns with what's being proposed right now for striping?
Any questions or comments, council? Mr. Yeager, I think you really gave us a good synopsis there. Anything, council?
Is there a way that
Go ahead.
Is there any way that the public can see this design? Maybe we can present it at the next council meeting?
I would imagine that can be done. We have drawings that will be put back into council chambers where all the plans are. I think the proposal that Holly put together right now is actually a combination of the two, but I think we can actually take a look at the plans that we do have already put together. You can put piece them together and see exactly what's being proposed. I don't think that's an issue at all. So we could do that for the next council meeting.
Great.
If there are there other questions?
No questions
If
here.
not, there's one second part to this, and that is that the bike committee is also responsible for pedestrian safety. And at the meeting with the county, there was a request for the county to install bump outs, what they call bump outs, and also the flashing beacons at both at Delaware Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue. Those are the two streets that access the Coast Guard and the Yacht Club and the Nature Center, busy places in the summer, a hard place to walk across. And so the county engineer was amenable. He said that shouldn't be a problem. It is a county road. They're proposing these two bump outs, and they're proposing these rectangular repeating blinking beacons be put in place to warn drivers that there is a pedestrian crossing coming up. I can tell you, I see a lot of people walking dogs that will wait at both of those streets until traffic is clear. They wouldn't attempt to take advantage of the fact that they have the right of way. And I think this proposal is a good idea, but it is one that the county would be taking care of. So unless anybody has any issue with that, I think this is something that should be communicated to the county as soon as possible. It can certainly wait until we look at the drawings at the next council meeting.
We have my support.
Great.
Mr.
Okay.
Yeh, I have a question about these bump outs. Is that going to prevent
Just one second. Oh, sorry.
from turning into like Delaware Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue, like you have to go in and do their own lane and they kind of turn in, or is it going to have to be a sharp turn in from the roadway?
I think I'm not sure that I can answer that question right away. There's a bump out right now that was put in place at Massachusetts and Texas Avenue, right at the Wawa. It doesn't look like it's intrusive, and it would make any kind of more difficult right-hand turn onto Massachusetts from where it's located. I couldn't say from an engineering standpoint that it does or doesn't, but I believe that they are a pretty practical design and are worth the shortening the crosswalk for the pedestrians.
Yeah, I do know that at Pittsburgh and Massachusetts, there is some difficulty for certain trucks trying to turn in there. They do go into the other lane.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a wider road to begin with on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah, and I don't know if there are different levels of bump outs. Something we can certainly have, before going ahead and doing that, have some feedback from Bob Church from the county on exactly, what's the impact of putting those in place.
Okay. That's great. Any other comment? Obviously, we'll bring that up on the council meeting on the 18th. Before we go to the ordinance for introduction, first I want to say thank you to Reverend Harris from the Macedonia Baptist Church. He was waiting, but then had an issue with his Zoom. So thank you. But we do have a pinch hitter for our benediction here from Our Lady Star of the Sea Church, who, if you saw me go off camera, I just made a quick phone call and they answered. And so Father Devlin from Our Lady Star of the Sea, we thank you very much for being with us. And if you would, please lead us with the benediction.
Sure, I'm honored to do so. And as a pinch hitter, I'm a left-hander, so I'm a good pinch. Let me tell you that. May God, the source and origin of all blessing, grant you grace for out his blessing in abundance and keep you safe from harm throughout the year. May he order your days and your deed in his grant your prayers in this and at every time as you serve the needs of this community. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Father Devlin.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
You too now. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Okay.
There.
We're back on Zoom, everybody.
All right, so Mayor, yes, we have an ordinance for introduction. Next on the agenda, it's 452-2021, an ordinance amending Chapter 310 of the Code of the City of Cape May regarding licenses and permits to establish provisions for residential rental licensing. If we have a motion and second to introduce.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second that.
Got a second? Any questions or comments?
At this time, I'd like to make the motion to raise the fee from $75 to $100 for the 1,000 square feet and less for the mercantile fee.
Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
I'll second that motion as well.
Okay. Any discussion on that motion? Roll call?
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
Yes,
Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
Mayor Mullock.
Yes. Do I have a motion on the amended ordinance?
To introduce as amended.
Introduce as amended, please.
I'll make that motion.
second,
Second. Any questions or comments on the amended ordinance? None? I'll only say I appreciate the work to build consensus on this. Obviously, there was some changes made to this to make to build some consensus, and then frankly, I think the changes were good ones. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the hard work of the MTRAC Municipal Taxation and Revenue Committee, and as well Advisory Committee, as well as our liaison to that committee, Deputy Mayor Sheehan. Thank you. Any other comments on this ordinance? None? Roll call, please.
Member Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan,
yes,
Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
Mayor Mullock.
Yes.
All right, Mayor, next up, we have the public portion. So those wishing to publicly comment shall call 609-827-5039, give their name and address and speak clearly into the phone. Please limit your comments to a 5-minute time frame. Any statements or questions emailed to cityclerk@capemaycity.com at least 1 hour prior to the meeting will be read into the record. And council, I can tell you there were no written comments received. There is a slight delay on YouTube though, so I would like to wait a minute or two if you don't mind, Mayor.
Clerk, do you want to give that phone number one more time?
Absolutely. It is 609-827-5039. Right here.
And I guess we should say that, we're hoping tonight to all be in the City Hall auditorium where they actually did install, my understanding is a new camera, basically a new system, which is a nice upgrade. we were having some technical issues with the live stream, and they're a different entity at this point. So we've switched to YouTube, and anyone, if you're trying to watch, you still go to the same place on the Cape May City website, still click on the link, and it just takes you to YouTube now rather than live stream. For most people, it may be a bit technical, but frankly, if you just click on the same spot, it'll take you to a live stream of the city council meeting, just like it did previously.
And Mayor, I'm not sure if you'd like, hand in hand with that discussion while we're waiting for phone calls, would you like to speak to council about whether you would like to continue doing virtual meetings for a little bit, if that's anticipated, just so I could give adequate notice to the public, if so?
Right. So as we're waiting, if there's anyone for public comment, what's council's opinion on moving forward, whether in person or keeping the face boxes we have here?
I personally like to go to in person.
In person?
I think we can, it's a large room, high ceilings, and we can, socially distance.
For some background information, I do know HPC was virtual last night. They are interested in continuing to be virtual, and I think there's interest in the boards and commissions as well to be virtual, but they're kind of waiting to see what council does. And I don't mean that to sway one way or another. I just want to let you know what I've been hearing from them. So they're kind of waiting to see what council wants to do.
I would encourage personally any of the boards and commissions to move to Zoom, especially if anybody's uncomfortable. I think that it would be fine, in my opinion. I don't know if others have an opinion for the boards and commissions.
Personally think the planning board and council and zoning board are the most important to be in person. I think that's when, the public is involved, there's important decisions being made, and you're not relying on technology for people to be able to speak or for them to hear council.
Mr. Meyer, do you have an opinion? Go ahead, Mr. Yeager.
I was just going to say, I, for one, am not reluctant. I would prefer the in-person meetings. I am not concerned about meeting at City Hall. I know that we can make accommodations to make it as safe as possible. And if the rest of the council is fine, I'd be fine meeting in person.
Let me say this too, because I don't want everybody to be put on the spot so much in a public forum. If anyone does really feel uncomfortable, please call me later and let's talk. I mean, I don't want people to feel obligated. I think the main thing is if somebody feels really uncomfortable, then we need to accommodate, so we'll see what we can do. Mr. Meyer, did you want to add anything?
I have no problem meeting in person. Like the deputy mayor said, we can social distance, and we've done things in the past, such as the partitions. I just want to make sure that the employees feel comfortable. I don't want to make them or put them in a position either. And I don't want to put them on the spot either.
Right.
That's right.
Okay. So I'm not so sure we're making a final decision. I think we all know it should be a little bit fluid going toward the 18th. It does sound to me like we have some consensus, though, that we should be in person, at least for council. So I think we should plan accordingly in that direction. Mr. Solicitor, did you have anything you wanted to add to that, or in regards to the legal process?
It's good to give our clerk an indication so that she can adequately notice for that meeting, and keep that 48-hour deadline in mind. And I'll note that whatever council does is not the same thing that HPC or the planning board have to do. If those boards are more comfortable and can conduct business virtually, they're free to do so.
Okay. I for one think those boards should decide for themselves. If they wish and feel more comfortable virtually, I think they should do that.
Okay. I'll be speaking with Karen and Judy tomorrow anyway. So we just kind of wanted to get a feel for what everybody was thinking. But again, just, let me know. And ahead of the next meeting, and we can take whatever precautions we need to take if it is in person as well. Okay. In that amount of time, no calls have come through. So.
Okay, I think we can close public comment. We're a little bit out of order, just the reorganization, but does anybody have any final comments that they'd like to give? No? Okay, well, thank you all very much. And again, I wish everybody a happy and healthy 2022.
You as well.
Happy New Year, all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
I
everybody.
make a motion to close.
Second.
Thank you,
all.
everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Time is
Good night.
5:50. Well done.